5 reasons why God is a woman. When Adam and Eve were created, Adam was first, thus God was probably trying something new. Then Eve was created, out of his smallest rib, implying that a woman was already part of him. Women's screams are louder than a man's, they're the window breaker. Women create a baby/life during their 9 months of pregnancy. Men are physically stronger, thus can do the labor, while the woman organize and plan. Women allow a man to enter her temple and generally make his genitalia grow. I'm just kidding, God's a man, but what difference does it make? We're all God's creatures, however, there's some fun concepts. Dogs always love their master. And what is dog spelled backwards? God. So we should always love ours. Cats have 1,000 different meows, whereas dogs only have 10 different barks. Like how women tend to gossip more than men, and cats cover up their droppings, but dogs urinate on every street corner, which is like how women always be on a man's back about things and are more secretive, whereas a man is just more able to move on and is more territorial and protective. I love you too, Mom. Also, we tend to not be able to take the smell and mess we're in when we're inside of it, as much others as around us can detect it. Lions are the king of the jungle. They roll solo. They fight to establish dominance and win female mates. They hop on tail whenever they want. They're territorial. They have the loudest roar. Don't conform to your environment like a chameleon, which camouflage, and have eyes on the side of their head. They're looking around them, whereas lions have eyes on the front of their face. They have that forward vision, that drive in life. The predators. Notice how calm they always are, so they're smart and they're powerful. Plus, they make their lionesses do all their golden retrieving. Monkeys are smart and playful, just like how, for example, sarcasm takes a certain level of intelligence to understand. However, a lion is far more dominant than the pack of laughing hyenas. Monkeys have forward vision, grasping thumbs, and memory. And ducks look calm on the surface, but are steadily swimming beneath it. Turtle and the rabbit. Rabbit is more spry and moves at a faster pace, but can have a tendency to go too fast to the point that it can't keep track of its wonderful whereabouts. But you're better off safe than sorry. The turtle is the slower one, yet how it probably can't recall its location as much as its awareness, but it has longevity, and it can duck its head in its shell, which is just like how we should think about protection. It shouldn't even exist. The spider and the fly. The spider are steadfast. We should be keeping our head out of our shells, and we should be working together as one in life. The spider and the fly. The spider steadfastly works, while the fly just wanders around. Steadfastly works, while the fly just wanders around, and sure enough, the spider can sit back and relax and has a meal fly right into its web. Like the spider, focus on what you're doing diligently, and the more you can enjoy and love your work, then you reap what you sow later, which will probably be fulfillment inside. On the other hand, the fly gets caught up in the web and is spun. The web is spun from the outside of perimeter to the inside. Maybe people should focus on what's going on around them and try to connect to that and link up, and they'll find fulfillment from within themselves naturally through the just little bit of God's love that has many eyes in many places at once. Bumblebees are industrious and send a single drone bee to scout for a new hive/nest by counting its food steps. And black and yellow are the colors of protection and happiness. So protect the queen to make the honey. And in danger, they go in a zigzag motion like lightning bolts. Thus fear God's wrath when they're around smoke. Birds are one of the best architects. They build their nests with their beaks, believe it or not. And they fly in packs in a V formation where the lead bird breaks through the wind and the other follow in the pockets behind it. And the higher a branch or the jump from, the further they can soar. And the more they flap their wings, the further they can soar, similar to like how a nice neighborhood someone is born in or how much work they do, they can soar after, coast after. Guns, the bigger the gun, the less recoil, just like the bigger the person, the less they are likely to get upset. A big gun with a muzzle on it is probably the best, like someone who is big, but comes off in a soft nature. Little things can be hit from afar and hit the target, just like how people who have big things going for them in life don't get bent out of shape easily, whereas vice versa. A smaller gun has more kick to it, just like a smaller person. If they get stepped on their shoe or something, they're going to freak out. Whereas a bigger person who has a family or a plan in life or faith in God, they're going to be more cool about things. The grateful smile versus the fearful frown. When we smile wide from ear to ear, we tend to squint shut our eyes, just like how oftentimes we take good things that happen to us for granted. And when we frown, our eyes tend to pull open, just like how when bad things happen to us, it can be a rude awakening. Self-esteem and confidence are two different things. You can feel good about yourself and not be confident about a certain task at hand, and vice versa. You can be confident about something, yet not have very much self-esteem in general or feel good about yourself. Keep your thought kept clean, and fighting is something that should only be done in self-defense, and the best way to defend ourselves is to do the right thing to receive God's blessings, especially in the long run. Imagine a black empty void in our body's midsection and throughout the entire temple that only God can fulfill with the divine Holy Spirit, and is depicted in our midsections and throughout our bodies, and is depicted as the dove that symbolizes pureness, perspective, and freedom. Take a sunflower, for example, how the sunflowers are the tallest flowers. They're black on the inside, and they lean towards the light. God fulfills us. The Holy Spirit will fulfill us, the dove. It symbolizes pureness, perspective, and freedom. Notice how birds have an overview head's view, so they can see many things going on at once, and they're free. They can fly as they please and sing as they please throughout the day. Not to mention that they're one of the best architects, and they build their nests with their beaks with twigs, which is amazing. Don't put your gut before what you nose. When it comes to posture, you should try to not let your nose cross your belly button. Thus go with your gut instinct, and nothing we know is important as your soul. Your nose is the center of your face, and your ears keep your balance, so let what you hear in your nose center and balance yourself. When your wrist is being flexed, like upwards like this, and it's loose, is like people who are up in a higher position. And when your wrist is downwards like this, it's flexed, like people in a lower position, or like people up in heaven, can be more calm about things, sitting relaxing in their thrones. But people who are down here on earth working, they're more stressed out about things. Kind of get that motion down. Hard to soft and soft to hard. When you're striking something hard, such as a skull, you want to use the soft part of your hand, like your palm. And when you're striking something soft, you want to use the hard part of your hand, such as your fist. This can be put into an analogy with how to interact with people as well, just like if someone is acting timid or weak. Like a pushover about something, maybe give them a little tough love, like, hey, come on, bud, keep your head up, don't be a wimp. You can do it. Just a little push of encouragement. You're touching something soft with something hard. And on the other hand of the spectrum, if someone is acting too hard, say for example an act of helpless violence against you or something else, and is going to strike you or them, you would want to assort the situation with a cautious, careful manner and try to calm them down. Plus, being careful will only open your mind up to being in a more protective state, thus helping you and others stay safe as well. For example, handling something hard with something soft, like your palm, hey, calm down, protecting yourself. Keeping a wider stance versus keeping a narrow stance. People who have a wider stance a wider stance is more stable, and take example of someone who rides a horse or works in a field, gather goods to load in the saddlebags. And keeping a wider stance not only makes you more stable, this making you have a lower center of gravity, so your feet are planted on the ground. You cover more ground yet, so you're more down to earth, sturdier. You also look up at others because you understand the potential that everyone has because you have experience. So, experience under your belt. especially since we're all God's vessels, whereas narrow stance is less stable. You most likely have not picked the weeds out in the field or have done that back-breaking work in the past, thus you're not stable/sturdy and can easily be knocked off balance even just by somebody's trash talk. Not to mention the stance has you looking down on everyone because you tend to look down your nose at people because you're covered much ground yourself. So keeping a wider stance in fighting, never underestimate your opponent, is the rule in fighting. However, the competition is only amongst yourself. We should strive to get better and better day by day. So try and look up to everyone, if not in the current situation they're in. Future. Hand signals. The thumb is God's goodness. The trigger is you. The middle finger is who you fucked off. Your ring finger is love. And the pinky is the most vulnerable finger. Take the I love you sign, for example. This sign right here. I love you. I love you. And your thumb resembles God, and you're grasping onto God, and you're going straight up with God. You hold it out like this. And your trigger finger is going straight up. Imagine this line going straight up. Parallel. You're going straight up in life. You're going to heaven. You're progressing in your job. You're making improvement mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. And take these two fingers, what most people keep tucked inside. Oh, I fucked someone over, I got in a fight with someone, or oh, I love my girlfriend, or they're what most people hold on to. But maybe what we should extend more is grasping onto God, going straight up with God, going up in life. And your vulnerability finger, your pinky, is you going down, oh, I lost my job, oh, I could get hurt, stuff like that. And notice how when you tuck in your pinky, your ring finger comes in. So if you think, oh, I'm invincible, I can't be hurt, then you're less likely to lose love as well. They're kind of connected. So when you're a lover, you understand that we're vulnerable, and vice versa. If you think I'm invincible, you're less likely to be a lover. So it's a cool little concept for the I love you sign. You know what I'm saying? Hang on to God, going up in life. Crossing your fingers. Take this finger represents you and who you fucked off. You're crossing them. You're crossing paths with the person. You're wishing for luck. The peace sign. Take the peace sign, for example. Stick your right hand out and look at it. Imagine these two lines going directly parallel up. Not only the second life in heaven, you're separating who you cross paths with, so you're at peace. Who you fucked over and you are separating. Also, if you take these two lines and put them straight up, just like heaven is constantly expanding, it's above us. So we're going, it's infinite. If you take these two lines, it's constantly expanding and it's above us, the second life in heaven. Also, if you look at your middle finger, if you look at your trigger finger, you first, from this perspective, if you're looking at it through this perspective, you look at you first and the middle finger second, just like when we look at us like, oh, I didn't do anything, but we look at someone else like, oh, that person did that. We tend to sometimes make judgmental or biased perspectives. But from the other perspective, if I were to look at it, say the computer looking at the hand, then the middle finger would come first and this finger would come second. So it's like, oh, we this kid's talking funny or whatever, and I didn't do anything. But that's just something. Usually we don't make those judgmental factors because we love, not judge. Also, there's one, what does it look like I'm doing? Either rolling the dice or masturbating. And the saying goes, the love of money is the root of all evil. But what we should do is we should let go of those, and we should reach out and try to meet somebody new. Let go of those even more, and keep our solemnly swear to the Lord. Our vow with God. Hang on to those. Stay open to those. Reaching out for someone new, and keeping our vow with the Lord. Don't have the love of money. The 10 Commandments for our next section. we will be going into the biblical section. That was The Book of Life, Part 2 by the mAPster, Malcolm Alexander Payne, son of Mary Payne and Alton Payne. This book was helped be made by the Kingdom of Heaven. Praise Jesus. We will go into the next subject about the biblical terms. Thank you for watching. Have a God bless day.